Awesome. Well, yeah, let's get the conversation started talking about old school Karate Kid. Oh,
Yeah.
I got it now. So if I can figure this out. So I just went off the movies. So we got 1, 2, and they go in parts. Part 2, part 3. Then you get the next Karate Kid, Hilary Swank. And then you do the Karate Kid with is that Jackie Chan?
Jackie Chan, yeah.
And Baby Smith. Jaden
Smith.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we got Cobra Kai, which we're going to lead up in the conversation. And then coming out in theaters a little bit later, I think May, is Legends. But yeah, so we can kind of just talk about that or maybe pull that up. But yeah, let's talk about your history seeing Karate Kid. Who's seen it before? The first one.
Oh my goodness. All right, go ahead. I can take the ball with this, but I want other people to talk first. Sorry, I had member berries, but sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead, dude.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the Karate Kid is integral.
Oh, and sorry, the rules, and we're gonna go GOAT, basically one in each. GOAT, A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
One in each, okay.
Yeah.
We have to spell out ABF though. We have. We must. It's there. No, but the Karate Kid, and believe it or not, I still have the Betamax tape in my garage.
Oh,
I
wow.
have all of our old Betamax tapes, and we recorded it off HBO with the baller old intro from HBO.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I have it out there. It's so integral to our family. Every time that if I go visit, at that point it was my dad when he was still alive. We would go see him, and he'd go bonsai like like Mr. Miyagi did. So that's how we always said goodbye when we would go back home. So we'd come from another state to go visit them, and we go bonsai, and we yell out the window bonsai. So this is the GOAT, man. The story is amazing. The music is amazing by Zamfir, the master of the pan flute. I love it, man. I consider it a GOAT, but it's so integral to our family. It's never left the lexicon. My dad and I loved watching all the movies, but the first one was just the best. Just enjoyed it, watched it all the time. So GOAT as far as I'm concerned.
So did you see it in theaters, at home?
Well, I wasn't old enough to see it in theaters, believe it or not.
Oh yeah.
Just missed it.
84? Yeah.
84, yeah. But no, I saw it on TV, and like I said, we recorded it and we watched it all the time.
Yeah,
So,
that was around the time where
nice.
VHS, you could get a
Yep.
VHS tape and record TV, and that was like a popular thing around that 84 to 90
Yep.
time.
yeah, apparently in my family, it's we're well known for backing bad technology. So my dad got Betamax, and then 20 years later, I got HD DVD. So if whatever I'm doing, don't follow my lead. So,
I was about to say, did you get the tiny Laserdisc ones?
hey, Laserdisc is fire. All right, that was just for rich people. We didn't have it. We had Betamax.
Yeah, I did the HD as well, because it came with like the Xbox. I got Xbox 360. Then they're like, oh, if you buy a 360, you get $100 off HD.
Yeah.
the player, and a bunch of HD DVDs or whatever they called them. So I get all this, and then like 2 months later, they nixed it, and then went for Blu-ray.
So yeah, I still have my HD DVD drive, and I remember ordering it. I filled it. Remember the checkbox? They're like, okay, I want King Kong. I want I want this movie.
Well, dude,
no,
King
you know what?
Kong,
Huh?
they were trying to give that away to everybody in the entire world because they made too many copies of it.
Well, guess what? They must have sold them all because I didn't get it.
Really?
Yeah.
One of mine.
So they
think I
just
got
gave me whatever the hell they had. They just sent me the most random assortment of movies, and I'm just like, okay, like the Italian Job. I'm like, they just dumped it out. They're just like, here's what we have. So I got it for $50. I was like,
All right, I'm doing something new for our stream. I started a poll in the chat, dropped in a bunch of the movies. Just pick which one's your favorite.
ABF, what do you think of Karate Kid 1?
I really like the movie, but it kind of makes me want to jump ahead to Cobra Kai since we can only put one in each category. I think I like Cobra Kai more than the Karate Kid movie. Is that weird to say?
That's your opinion.
You're allowed an opinion.
Yeah.
So I don't think it belongs in the GOAT. Me personally think it should be A tier if we could only do one and put Cobra Kai under GOAT.
Yeah, at the end we can put more than one in GOAT right now.
Okay.
And then at the end
Rearrange them.
Yeah, there'll only be one. It's
Final
Highlander
battle.
Okay.
This is gonna be brutal, man. This is like
Yeah.
Sophie's Choice. You're just
All right, what about you, Tiny?
Well, I would definitely put it in A tier or GOAT tier. I mean, it is the start of everything. And I did not see it in theaters. It did come out the year I was born. But
No excuses.
I remember seeing it from a relatively young age. And actually, I had an interesting connection with it. When I was growing up, there was a dude who lived down the street from us who actually, my mother had babysat for when he was a kid. And now he had a martial arts studio, and he did Shirin-Ryu, which is it's a lot like Shotokan. And I was like, everyone's talking about Kung Fu. And I was really interested in martial arts. And the guy who lived on the street was like, if you've seen Karate Kid, my martial arts comes from Japan, like that movie. I was like, really? So I started watching it. So I watched it. And I was like, I want to be like that. I want to be like that. So I mean, literally, I got into martial arts at the same time I saw this movie so that I would get into martial arts. I got tricked, but I loved it so much. It was such a part of like starting off I love anything that became a martial art in the sense of it's an art dealing with weapons or fighting or some type of idea, like not just a fighting style, but all of it together, all of the arts that are martial arts.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, I think I was in daycare around this time. Well, not in 84, but later on when we're just watching it constantly, like, and then of course fighting with each other and like boys and do. So yeah, it was just nonstop fighting after we saw this movie. Alf, what about you? Or Tiny, A or GOAT? You said between the two, pick one.
I'm gonna put it at GOAT for the moment, but I know it's gonna be an argument, and I understand why Alec Baldwin's figure says what he's saying, because the one thing about Cobra Kai is because it's a series instead of a movie, you really get to get into a lot of stuff that maybe it makes you feel more connected. You get more lore, you get more like not interactive, but I don't know.
You get all the same.
I agree with ABF, and I understand why he said it. That's all I'm trying to say.
You get all of the same characters too.
Exactly. Yeah. Like it's going to be an interesting argument at the end. It's hard to decide.
For sure. Alf?
I saw this. I was very young when I saw this. I want to say my parents showed it to me. I don't think I saw it in the theaters. I think we watched it when it was on TV and recorded it. But I loved it. The karate's not legit, but I ended up later, because I love the movie so much, I ended up signing up for karate, and I took it for a couple of years. But very different than what's in the movie. But I still love it all the same. And as far as ranking it, I would say GOAT, but I'm going to, with a caveat, that I want to put Cobra Kai at the GOAT as well. And the reason I say that is because of how Johnny's story starts there and winds back around into Cobra Kai, and you get a very satisfying end for Johnny. So that's because that's what Cobra Kai is. It's Johnny's story for the most part.
Yeah. All right, so we got 3 for GOAT right now, 1 for A.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, so yeah, I'll say okay. Well, my backstory, like I said, daycare watching this, and that turned into later on 3 Ninjas, and so it's like okay,
3 Ninjas was the shit. Also,
Yeah.
I put that on the thumbnail if you didn't notice that.
Yes, I did.
No. That's awesome.
Yes, I love 3 Ninjas.
Yeah, so I love that just feel of the Karate Kid, and that was a more grown up one than 3 Ninjas, but it was still a lot of fun. Yeah, I'll leave it in GOAT for now.
Because that's what this one is, remember?
Part 2.
Larger than one. Yeah.
Part 2.
One were larger than one.
This is the one where he went to Japan. He fought, what was the guy's name in Cobra Kai? Chosen?
Chosen, yep. Who we
Yeah.
get later in Cobra Kai.
there's like a typhoon or something, and he rescues a girl.
Yep.
And then he
Yep.
fights that guy at the end of the movie.
And for now, try not to do spoilers for the last 3 episodes of Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Let's start there. What do you think, ABF, or anybody?
Yeah. I'll let
Starting
the
at the
guests
bottom
go
again?
first. Well, Mo stepped out. ABF, what do you got?
I say C tier. It's good, but it's not nearly as good as the first movie. Gosh, I don't remember part 2 as much as I should. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
All right. Wikipedia says in 1986, American martial arts. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Following the success of the first installment, preparation for a sequel. Okay.
So,
We're not gonna
so
read
basically, Mr. Miyagi has to go back to Okinawa. He takes him with him. He starts integrating with the culture. He finds a girl he likes. There's another guy, I guess, that's interested in that girl, and there's a little feud that starts, and then they're at some like tournament. I can't remember exactly. There's like a tournament at the end.
Do you want me to
And-
jump in?
Yeah, go ahead.
So he falls, who is the niece or something of an older woman who Mr. Miyagi had been in love with, and another man on the island had been in love with, and they'd fought over the girl, and it's one of the main reasons Mr. Miyagi left Okinawa to begin with. And the other young man who likes the young girl is the nephew of the guy that Mr. Miyagi had been fighting with. So it's they're showing that the generational thing, it always continues, whether it's blood or mentorship or whatever, that there are these continuing issues. And there's a giant storm, and the Okinawan young man who's in love with the girl isn't able to save her, and he feels like afterwards he feels like a coward because Daniel does save her. And then they fight.
That's right.
And then they fight, and the Okinawan young man expects him to die, expects himself to die. He wants Daniel to kill him. It's like murder by cop, like seppuku type version of murder by cop. He doesn't want to live. And Daniel's attitude is, dude, I'm American. I'm not killing you for this shit, and you got to live with your guilt. Suck it up.
Yeah, and just talking about box office real quick, budget was 12.5 million, and it made 130 million.
Wow.
Back in,
Dang.
I think
Nice.
that's not adjusted either.
Oh wow.
Yeah, back in 1986, and it does take place 6 months after
Mhm.
the first one.
Yeah.
I loved it because I love other cultures. I went to school for anthropology because I like studying humans. And this was one of those early things that was like, oh my God, on the other side of the world, there's a culture that's totally different from mine and totally interesting and all this in a way that the first Karate Kid really introduced me to martial arts and why I became in love with so many of those types of things. The second movie was part of my childhood and growing up and wanting to learn all about other cultures and other humans who do things differently than the way I was raised to do things. So, I mean, these movies were a much more informative part of my childhood than I realized. So we had this conversation.
Nice. Well, that's good. That's the point.
Okay, the first one is not.
Mo, you got thoughts on Karate Kid Part 2?
Well, I do. Guess what I found, guys. You want to full screen me real quick?
3 over 1.
I'm so excited. I haven't held this in my hands for decades. But
Alf, you got that?
Oh, that's just
Careful what you're
easy.
talking about.
I
Can't
mean,
remember how to full screen you.
The
Fuck.
3 little dots and solo layout.
Okay, there you go.
There we go.
there you
Yeah.
go.
Sorry.
Check it out, guys. This was it. This is the and
Heh.
Oh, is that your Karate Kid?
Karate
one?
Kid.
Nice.
That's the one I grew up with, right there.
Oh wow.
You know
So
what would be
media
funny
hero.
is if it was taped over.
Oh, that would be awful.
Somebody's in trouble. I might have to go get my dad a visit. But
We
no,
were talking
those
about the
two-
moon landing today, so that actually
There's like
happened.
SpongeBob recorded over it.
Yep. JF
Yeah,
face
Chris
stuff.
Fisk in the comments. Yeah, absolutely. It probably has the intro on. I know I said it. I know some of our tapes do, but yeah, that's legit. That's the one I grew up with in the '80s. But Karate Kid Part 2.
So,
Honestly, I really liked the character of Chosen. What a piece of garbage he was. Like, you could say Johnny Lawrence was misguided and stuff like that, but Chosen was an ass.
Spoiled.
Yeah, and him trying to run, like he was like scamming people in the community in Okinawa. But just the love affair between him and I can't remember the girl's name was amazing. Like it was so full of that culture.
Mm-hmm.
And was it Sato?
Yuki?
He was so over the top angry. He's like, ugh,
Yeah.
you wait till I find you, coward! Like you wait until
I think the
just
woman
way
was
that-
Yuki.
What is the denominator?
Yuki,
Y-U-K-I-E.
Yeah.
Okay. When you
And,
That sounds about
just
right.
all the Asian culture in that, it was just an amazing movie because it's such a departure from the first one, but it really
Mm.
isn't. It's like you were on well, nobody was on the home court in Daniel's case because he just moved from New York, but you're in Miyagi's hometown, and it was really cool to see him there and all the stuff that it really hashed out Miyagi's character, and I really loved it. Kumiko, yeah. So, but I love that one too. Those two, I would give it.
You got it. So here we've got
We have to give it something, I guess, right below an A, but
4
That's
I
where
don't
I
know.
put it too.
because the final fight in 2 is so damn good. Like this,
Yeah,
not,
it is. It's,
this
it's
is not
really-
tournament. This is real life.
Oh,
Yeah.
My son. Yes.
over 6.
And just the cinematography, the way he comes in, going down the lantern line, and just there was just a lot to it that it was kind of over the top, but it wasn't. It was so I agree with Simone.
Yeah.
I think it was
And I had one of those
that final
drums
fight's great.
because you could find them in toy stores after that. So my sister and I'd be like, ching, 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 ching,
Yeah,
ching,
I'd
ching,
say
ching, ching, ching,
I
ching.
didn't get my ranking, but yeah, I'd say in B would be Bro Zamboni.
Bros in, but yes, put it firmly there.
Lo Zambroni.
Bros in, but wherever
All
you want
right.
to put it.
Alf, you said B?
Yep.
Mo, you said B?
I would say B, yeah, because
Yeah,
of
you
what's
said
coming
C.
up. Yeah.
Tiny?
I'm good with B.
And it's pretty simple.
If someone wanted to argue for A, I would do so, but I know that A's and Goat's going to be very much argued already. So I'm willing
Yes,
to go
that's
with
why I'm
B.
putting it there. I would put it A if I hate to say I've barely seen Cobra Kai, and that's my fault. I'm going to binge watch it here soon, but
Yeah,
uh,
I'm blanking on number 2. That it's I kind of remember a little bit, but 1 and 3 were kind of my jams. And kind of like you, I have a recorded version of 3, Cardiac Part 3. So that's kind of been my jam. But yeah, I heard good things about 2 lately since Cobra Kai came out.
How many
I always really liked 2 a lot, but I think that some people who maybe didn't like it as much, when Chosen comes back in Cobra Kai and is not an enemy, like, and you get to see his character development to some degree, I think it made people who didn't necessarily like number 2 as much come to appreciate it more.
Yeah. All right, let's talk 3, Part 3. Terry Silver.
Then 6 times. Right.
This freaking guy. Like, if you thought Kreese was bad, like Terry Silver just takes it to another level. You know?
Oh yeah,
So it's just
Bruce is at least honest in his in his like obnoxious beliefs and how he wants to live his life and how he wants to control people. Kreese is
Yeah.
such a slimy. Yeah.
He looks like a car salesman.
The
Yeah.
cliche.
I never trusted him in any of Cobra Kai because, like, this guy do not do anything. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into Cobra Kai right now, but yeah, Daniel just being terrified of him when he comes back, Cobra Kai.
What do you think, Mo?
I think okay. So Karate Kid 3, it was kind of getting to like Mike Barnes and all that stuff. That was interesting, but it was kind of with the first 2, they were so good. It's the same thing that happens with every third sequel. They're just not going to live up. Like they've already spent all of their knowledge and all of what they can do. That's what we thought at the time. Obviously, we weren't expecting Cobra Kai. But I loved it. One of the funniest scenes in all 3 movies is when Miyagi kicks Terry Silver's ass and throws him into the mirrors, and he goes, "Whoa, whoa!" It was
Dude,
like
I totally forgot about that until you just said it.
that. Okay, so my dad and I's favorite movie was 1, but his favorite scene, he would rewind that all the time. Like he thought it was hilarious because he just kicks his. He's like, "Oh, hey, little man," he's like being a douchebag, and he gets humbled, and the paint falls off. Whoa, because Pat Morita is legitimately a comedian. Like he's a funny guy. Yeah. But here's the thing: Terry Silver, the guy that plays him in real life, is a legit martial arts specialist.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
A lot of if you have an action movie with a lot of real martial arts in it, generally whoever's playing the villain is an actual martial artist. Not necessarily the hero, but almost always the villain.
But
which can be good. Some actors like to play the villain, even if they're decent in real life and skillful.
Like Tom Wilson, Terry Silver. If you've seen them in interviews, they're the nicest people that you'll ever talk to, because I think they get it out of their system. They play like the biggest bullies in cinema history, and they're just like,
yeah, the guy who played Kreese is the same way. He's super nice in interviews.
He seemed nice at the con. I didn't get a chance to speak with him. He actually had a lot of people at his table at MegaCon.
That's cool.
I think I saw him a couple of years ago at AtlantaCon. Yeah, I saw all the guys on a panel, and it was amazing. You could tell they genuinely wanted to be there, want to be on the show. They said they had some big things coming. This was like 2 years ago, so it's kind of cool to see the payoff.
Yeah, because he didn't get many acting gigs, but he was such a good villain because he knew like he was being manipulative. Like he wasn't like, he was over the top, but it was believable over the top.
Yep.
Because he was a Vietnam vet, and he was just like, yeah, he got wrecked. His brain got wrecked in Vietnam, and yeah, it was just
that's interesting.
Yeah, but as far as
generally so nice.
Yeah, but as far as 3, it's not as good, but it has so many good things. Like just I would say probably. Oh man, a C. I'd say C. It's a great popcorn movie, and there's really good moments, and there's really good lore in there. But the rest of the movie's kind of like it's, the whole thing with Mike.
I'll admit, I don't remember 3 nearly as well as I remember 1 and 2. Kind of like what Drew was saying, how he doesn't really remember 2, but he remembers 1 and 3.
Like Ralph Macchio was like 48 when that movie came out, and it's like, are you ever going to catch on to people taking advantage of you? Damn, son, like you're old.
It did feel a little bit like I remember being like, I know he's supposed to be naive, but come on now.
Yeah, it's like Home Alone 2. It's like, really, how many times is this kid gonna get lost before they call Child Protective Services?
Seriously.
So,
I think C is where it belongs.
Yeah.
It's got some good stuff in it, but it's not nearly as good as 2.
Alf?
It's been a long time since I've seen it. I think I'd agree with C, but as far as villains, I'd put Terry Silver at the A tier.
Well, if we were breaking it down into individual villains and stuff, yeah, he's definitely one of the worst guys.
I'd put it as B, as Bros and Boney, but I can respect C. Is everybody at C? That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I'm good.
That's where I'm at.
All right. I don't think I've ever seen this movie. The Next Karate Kid.
Am I the only one who likes this movie? Because I'm the
no,
only
you're not.
Please talk about
I liked.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Mo.
Oh, I just loved it because it had a lot of really good songs from the 90s in there. Like she's working out to the Cranberries and stuff, which that's my girl, or was my girl. She went out like a true Irish person, drowned in her bathtub. But no, as far as like I liked it, man. Like I liked Hilary Swank's. I would say it's a D for sure, but it's a good popcorn movie. Michael Ironside's in it. That's all you need to know. Michael Ironside is the best villain ever, or best dickweed. He's once again nicest guy apparently. He did Ask Me Anything on the Reddit, and he's just like the coolest dude ever. But he
always plays villains.
Yeah,
hardcore villain.
But he's the nicest guy. If you ever hear him talk about Arnold Schwarzenegger, he loves that man because he helped his sister. He helped his sister get treatment. Like she was probably going to pass away from cancer, and he just is like the nicest dude ever. But I love him in Starship Troopers. I love him in this movie because he's just Michael Ironside. Ugh. He's like he takes Kreese and he goes to like the illogical end of it. So he's awesome. Hilary Swank is awesome. The guy that goes to high school, looks like he's older than Ralph Macchio in that movie. He's like 37 years old, you know. You know, but as far as everything, what's his name? Walter Goggins. He's in that
Yep.
movie.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Oh,
he is.
yeah.
right.
Yep,
I'm gonna have
very,
to
very
rewatch.
young,
Wow.
and but you can see the actor he's going to become.
I didn't remember
Yeah,
he was in
really
that.
good.
Wow.
Yeah, he was one of the punk friends that kind of Walter Goggins. Yep, Walton Goggins. Excuse me. But
Walton
it would-
Goggins.
And the whole thing where they go to the
Monastery.
the monastery is
I love
really like it. That it obviously it's a drop off from 3. 3 wasn't bad, and this isn't bad. And if people don't like it, hey, I understand. It's great, but it still told a really good story. You had great character actors like Michael Ironside. You had Hilary Swank did a great job. Pat Morita was on point, and it was
Mhm.
just it was a really fun movie. But it was just it was a popcorn movie. It was like a rent, not buy for a, as we used to classify it. Yeah, it's a blockbuster movie. It's like don't go to the theater, but go pick up a tape and watch it, and you'll have fun. That's what I would consider this movie to be. I loved it growing up. No apologies, but it's a D. Because there's so many good movies in this series and good shows.
I really enjoyed it. I was 10. I'd already been doing martial arts for a few years, and I have to say that I had other things going on in my life that I felt very connected to this movie in different ways. And I thought the scenes like when he's trying to teach her to dance by using martial arts was hilarious and amazing. And I wanted to start a thing that all guys who don't know how to dance need to take martial arts and then figure it out that way.
Fair.
And the scene when Mr. Miyagi goes to buy her a dress, and and he goes in, and the woman says, "Well, what kind of girl are you trying to find a dress for?" She goes, "Very good crane style, not so good with her roundhouse kick." He can do such, and the woman in the store is like, "What size is she?" It was just like the disconnect of that conversation. It was always one of the funniest scenes for me. I always loved it, and the idea that no, you really probably shouldn't be getting in fights if you can avoid it. I was having problems with that myself at a little bit older than 10, but not much. You shouldn't get in fights, but if you do get in a fight, you finish a fight. And I mean, I love the end. I love the fact, for me, like also the fact that she stands up to the to the bad guy, and you see the Ironside, which is very much a Kreese character. You see him fully lose all of them. You see that a little bit at the end of the first movie, but at the end of this movie, you really see the people go, "I've been following the wrong guy. This is not the path I want to be going down. This is not actually what I thought it was. This is not a good man. This is not good." And I love that end scene where they walk, like where the Gotham character just takes the patch off and goes, "No, I was wrong. This is not where I should be." I love that part of it. That the bad guy finally actually gets revealed and actually has the people who believe in him turn against it. I really loved that part.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's when you know Walton Goggins is a good actor, because when he gets manhandled by Ironside, you like really feel like, oh my goodness, like you feel like he's actually like beating him up and stuff. Like he's really good, and not surprised that he's successful nowadays. But it's so funny to see him so
Hey,
young.
look who's here?
Hey,
What's up,
Jen, Sylv, what's up?
Ladies?
Nice. Who else has seen the movie? ABF?
I've
Alf?
seen it.
Thoughts?
So, I watched this when I was younger and just thought it was all right, you know. And sometime last year, I went to this fancy ramen place with my friends, and the tables were all filled, so they were like, you could sit at the bar and get serve food that way. So we sit there, and they had the next Karate Kid playing on the big screen in front of the bar, and there's a bunch of people there. We're all watching it. We're all adults. We're probably all in our 40s, and we're like, man, Hilary Swank kind of sucked at acting back then. Like watching it as an adult now, it doesn't hold up very well. It's not great.
I just like rewatching stuff now for the characters that we know, the Walton Goggins and the the Ironsides, and to see their build up to kind of how we know them. So yeah, I'm putting this on my rewatch list for sure.
I mean, there's definitely some good parts in it. It's not a terrible movie. I wouldn't call it that ever, but I'm gonna have to put it in the ABF tier.
Alf, what do you think?
I think I've only seen this once or twice. I wasn't impressed, but
Oh, ABF tier.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what are we doing here? What are we
Yeah,
doing?
Not the ALF
obviously,
tier.
obviously anything that Pat Morita's in was great. And like you said, Michael Ironside, Goggins, had a lot of good actors in it. I've never thought Hilary Swank is that good of an actress. Just me, but yeah, I would agree with the ABF tier because I just didn't really have any desire to go back and watch it.
You and me,
Yeah,
Mo,
I'm
we'll
kinda-
watch it.
Loving the names of the tiers here. They're getting D-Roo, ABF, Bros.
D minus Rue.
D minus Roo.
All right, are we good for ABF tier?
Yeah, I'm good
Or
with
would
it.
anybody say differently?
Well, no, because we got we have the Jackie Chan. Yeah, we got that one coming up. So I'm saying D. I'm saying D because
yeah,
it's going to get
I'd agree to
supplanted here
that
shortly. Yeah.
just because of what's behind it.
All right, so
Yeah.
2 for D. ABF.
I never saw the Jackie Chan.
Well, for this one. For next.
For that one, I guess D is all right. I kind of assumed that the Jackie Chan one was going to be higher than the next Karate Kid, but maybe I'm wrong.
All right, 3 for D. That's good enough.
Ironside puts it over the top. That's all I'm going to say. Ironside is not in bad movies.
There you go.
Ironside automatically gets a pass on everything. It doesn't matter
All
how
right,
bad
the
the
next
movie is.
Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. What is it called?
The
The
Karate
Karate
Kid.
Kid.
Because if you put the in front of something, it obviously makes it completely different from all the other things that
All right.
have that name before it.
It's a
I-
reverse
Like
of the
the
Fast
Suicide
and the
Squad.
Furious, because on Fast and the Furious 4, they did Fast
Yep.
and Furious as opposed to the
The
Fast,
Fast and the Furious. Yeah.
The
I'll-
Facebook.
I'll lead
Yeah.
off on this one. I liked the Jackie Chan parts. I could not stand anything that Jaden Smith was in. I can't stand him as an actor. I think he got the part because of his dad. He not a good actor. The only redeeming thing I'll say is that they show Chinese culture in the movie. Because I don't know why they called it Karate Kid because they were learning kung fu.
Exactly.
So
That was
I
such
don't
a
know.
big issue for me.
when they put that movie out and they said Karate Kid and it's like, wait, it's in China and he's learning kung fu. It just the marketing was all off. The title, everything. So they could have called it Kung Fu Kid and that would have been cool.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I the movie was awful. Other than Jackie Chan was great. But that's where I'll leave it. I'll put it in Giant, not Fierce.
I never
I-
saw this movie. I kind of the same thing. I aged out of the Karate Kid stuff at that point, and then the whole Will Smith thing, and it just seemed a very, what is
Corporate.
it called when your kids do? You put your kids in
Nepotism.
stuff.
Yeah, nepotism.
Nepotism. Yeah. Even before I knew what the word nepotism, I'm like, no, pass.
Well, I mean, Will Smith is technically a producer of Cobra Kai, isn't he?
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I saw that lately.
I think it was
So
the
he
first
literally
season.
has, yeah. But either way, obviously he had some pull, so put his silly kid in there.
Supposedly, part of it was that his kid did do martial art at a young age, and his kid was inspired to do martial arts because his kid loved the Karate Kid movies, supposedly, and that's why he wanted to be in a Karate Kid movie, and his dad was willing to produce it. I don't know. I went to see it because I love the Karate Kid movies and I generally like Jackie Chan and I'm willing to give things a chance. But I was already kind of script. It was like, but the Karate Kid movies are all about Okinawan martial arts and Japanese martial arts, which is not the same thing as Kung Fu or Wufan or any of the other Chinese martial arts. And there was a part of me that was just like, how
I freeze,
racist
or
can
did
you
everybody else
get
freeze?
that you can't tell that? Like, how racist can Hollywood be that
No,
they
I
can't
think
tell
you
that there's a
froze.
difference between these two groups? Like that was the first thing that was like, that doesn't make any sense. And then I saw the movie and I was like, no, this is not. there was a lot of stuff that wasn't. I mean, they talk about Chinese culture, but then they show modern Chinese stuff that's just not really accurate. And I did not like this movie.
They tried so hard. They tried so hard to push Jaden Smith as an actor for so
Oh, yeah.
long.
Is that his
And then
actual name? Willard Carroll Smith II? That's not true. Is it?
Apparently,
Is this
Yeah.
Wikipedia thing?
yeah,
No, that's
it's
probably right.
Wikipedia.
Okay. He's saying, keep your name out of his motherfucking mouth right now. All right. Well,
Even that
all right.
movie poster is kind of cringe.
In
Isn't it-
2010, like that was a good time for movies too. And maybe they're just, Kung Fu.
I never watched it. It didn't seem like a Karate Kid movie to me.
This is actually the
And-
form of karate.
It
I
really
took.
made
It really wasn't.
300 million?
That's insane. Wow.
It must be like a worldwide thing that
Mhm.
took off somewhere.
Oh, ironically, since it's got a small black child, and it actually did relatively well in China, I believe.
Hey,
What's up,
Tabitha.
Hmm.
Yeah, Jackie Chan's
Mhm.
great. It's
I
hard. to
like Jackie
find him in
Chan.
movies.
After learning that he tried to join the Communist Party, I
Yeah.
think of him a bit less.
I did not know
So-
that.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
And they
he
they
threw a whole
rejected
bunch.
him too.
Yeah, he threw a whole bunch of shit under the bus so that he could qualify to be a part of the CCP, and then they rejected him. And he screwed over a whole bunch of people and a whole bunch of organizations in Hong Kong to get to that point where they could. Then they refused him. That did not help.
So I think it belongs in the giant not fierce CCP category.
Sounds good to me.
Is there anything lower?
Oh, there's not.
Okay, then that's where it belongs.
Did I do this incorrectly? No. Did I make too many? One,
I think
two,
you made too many.
No, I think you're good. Well, that's okay.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Got
5,
wiggle room.
6, 7. Oh, I was counting this one.
Yeah, you got two more.
Oh, sorry, deleting. Bye, Giant. Wait, or did I remess that up?
You missed.
No,
No,
it
you're
should've
good.
been
You're
there.
good. You're good.
Oh, you're good. It doesn't matter.
'cause we
can
got
put
another
two
one.
and one.
Well, technically that one isn't even out yet. How can we rate it?
Yeah, we'll
right?
just kind of talk about that.
Yeah. So I
You
mean, we
could
could leave it in the question
question
mark.
mark,
Yeah.
Okay. Let's
Because
leave
we
it.
don't know if it's good or not.
All right, Cobra Kai. Let's talk Cobra Kai. So this is kind of our main discussion for this one. So yeah, let's leave out spoilers for the last 3 episodes because I know people are still catching up, myself included. But this show, I mean, for one, it was unexpected. It came out of nowhere. I think it started on YouTube Red. I want to say it wasn't
Yep.
YouTube TV. It was YouTube Red.
Well,
Yeah, it was.
if I may, there was a why Danny LaRusso was the bad guy was what kicked
Oh.
off the Cobra Kai creators to want to start.
I
like,
thought that was
am I-
the
am I wrong
greatest
about
thing
that?
yeah,
ever.
it was like this. It was
Johnny,
like 30 years in the making.
Where
yeah,
I
Johnny
first-
told the
yeah.
story, and his perspective is the funniest thing ever for a TV show.
Where I first saw that was in the show How I Met Your Mother, where
Yep.
Barney Stinson in the show talks about how Johnny was the good guy, and then the new guy in town was the bully. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, that's where I first heard of the idea, and which is fine. How I Met Your Mother has, they go off the wall with different stuff. But when it was actually Johnny and Daniel like showed up in one of the episodes, like that was amazing. So yeah, that was a cool thing. Yeah, if you haven't seen that, I don't know if you're into the show, Tiny, but
For some reason, I miss out on a lot of the really classic sitcoms that everyone else likes at the time when everyone else likes them. Like I've seen a couple episodes, but I never got into Friends. I never got into Seinfeld, and I'm a New Yorker.
you can watch
Seinfeld is
How I Met Your
amazing.
Mother because it's in the future, and they go back and talk about the weird things that happened basically in the 2000s. So
Mhm.
yeah,
To be
so
fair,
it
the
would make
best
sense to watch it.
the best thing about that show is Barney Stinson, like bar
Yeah.
none.
Yep.
Okay.
So extreme. Yeah. It's like a Seinfeld and a Friends, but then it takes it to a whole different dimension when you add Barney into it.
Okay.
Legendary.
Cool. I will actually finally have to sit down and give it a shot.
Yeah. I mean, who's seen Cobra Kai? What do you think when it got started? Like I said, it came out of nowhere and be like, okay, I'm hooked. And then it was only 30 minutes an episode. But It's like I loved it.
Dude, that first season, I think some of the episodes are just over 20 minutes. Like they're so quick.
Yeah.
I have seen all of it. I caught it when they finally brought it to Netflix because I didn't, I wasn't going to pay for YouTube Red. But when it came to Netflix, I think there was 2 seasons out. I watched it. I was hooked immediately after the first 2 episodes. We binged the whole first season that day. So yeah, I think it's great. I like that it picks up from Johnny's perspective. What is it? 35 years later from the first season. And you just see how rough a shape he's in, how his life is kind of shit. And that plays into the rest of the seasons too. I don't want to spoil for anyone who hasn't seen them all, but yeah, it's a great kickoff to the show. And because I had seen How I Met Your Mother and them talking about how Johnny was the good guy, and then he tells that in the first season, he tells that exact story from his perspective. It was so good. But yeah, as far as Cobra Kai, I would like to put it at GOAT with Karate Kid, knowing that I've seen it all and what I've seen. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think it deserves to be in GOAT also because it's not that it's better than the original Karate Kid. It's that it has all of the good bits from all of the Karate Kid in it.
Yeah,
in a way. And yeah, it's new story, but you have all of the same characters. You learn more about each one. And every season has kind of its own little theme too. And honestly, it's almost not fair because it's a single thing and it has so much there compared to the 90 to 2 hour.
Yeah,
movies.
it's a lot more content, so it's hard. We were talking about this beforehand of breaking it up to each season, but that's not fair for everyone who hasn't seen them all. But yeah, it's
just to get the conversation started. But yeah, and then bringing up critic list right now. Cobra Kai is on here. I like how they break it down. 2018 started, the 6 seasons, 65 episodes. And then, I like it goes on the cast and crew. So yeah, I'll just read this. The Karate Kid sequel series picks up 30 years after the events of the 1984 All Valley Karate Tournament and finds Johnny Lawrence on the hunt for redemption by reopening the infamous Cobra Kai Karate Dojo. This ignites his old rivalry with the successful Johnny LaRusso, who's been working to maintain the balance in his life without mentor Mr. Miyagi. I remember when the show started, I hated Daniel LaRusso. Like it was such a Johnny story, and the whole thing is. But at the beginning, they did the whole montage of Daniel LaRusso. He's got the hot wife and the dealership and everything, and then Johnny doesn't, and just working back up and seeing what Johnny's been up to.
Well, that's how good of storytellers they are, is that they get you to love and hate characters whenever they want you to, depending on what's happening.
That
in
is
those seasons.
the definition of a good writer. But Mo has to go soon. Did you want to say something before you have to go?
I really need to go through these series because we're at T-0 seconds when all the spoilers are going to get out. So I need to get in before the last season. But I love these movies. Obviously, I mean, seriously, I wouldn't still be holding on to this if I didn't give a crap about these movies. The first 2 are my favorite, and I hold them in high regard. But
watch them with the family.
Yeah, totally. I mean, this wasn't the one that made me want to get into karate. Mortal Kombat 1994 made me want to get into karate.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it was so good. Anyways, that's for another day. But I really appreciate you guys having me on. This is so much fun.
You got anything you want to plug?
Yeah, I'm heading on to Tabitha's stream here shortly.
Awesome.
I'm going to do because this is you want to talk about my sensei. Here's my sensei because I'm an artist. Bob Ross. We're going to do a Bob Ross tutorial. So
how do we make him big?
Bob Ross.
Bob Ross is the best of us. So anyways,
happy trees, Mo.
Paint some happy trees. I will. Thank you. Thank you. But no, seriously, this is an amazing show. I really appreciate you having me on. I'm sorry. I accidentally double booked. That was my bad.
So
yeah.
your
so
thing in bigger. What'd you have?
Oh yeah.
real quick?
This was a gift to me. It is one of the best T-shirts ever because it has Bob Ross on it. No mistakes, just
There
happy
you go.
accidents.
Happy accidents.
Yep. So he's my man. You just got to roll with the punches, as all of us have figured out in our lives. But yeah, dude, that was really fun. I haven't talked about the Karate Kid movies like that at length for a while, and brings back some very happy memories. So
Awesome.
to everybody in the chat, everybody on the panel, thanks for having me on, dude. And dude, this show is just going to take off. I'm sure it's
Thanks,
just
man.
super fun. It's just fun.
Yeah.
This is fun to hang out. Tiny, nice meeting you again. And I hope everybody has a wonderful night. I got to go.
All right. See you,
See you
Mo.
later, Mo.
Bye.
Take care.
Um,
Awesome.
did everyone get to rank the Cobra Kai?
I don't think I ranked it, but I agree.
Well, yeah.
with
What are your thoughts on the show, Tiny?
I've actually only seen season 1 and part of season 2. I really enjoyed it. And then my friend who I was sharing Netflix with, he's on the other side of the country, and Netflix decided that we couldn't share an account anymore. So I didn't see the rest of it. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was interesting to see it from Johnny's perspective. I did not think that Daniel was the bad guy in the first movie. I remember when that idea came up and people were talking about it a little bit, and I was like, I think in the very beginning, like enraged, like, how dare you say that? And then it was like, well, I'm not saying he's the good guy going forward, but he's not the bad guy in the first movie.
No one really believed that. It was just fun to like say that, you know.
Yeah. But I did really enjoy seeing it from Johnny's perspective to some degree, and to see someone who, they made bad choices, they ended up going down a bad path, and yet they were able to, even though in the beginning, not necessarily for the right reasons in the right ways, but they were able to literally change their life. They were able to say, I don't fucking like where I am, and I'm going to change it. And that's not an easy thing to do. And it takes a lot of mistakes and more mistakes and problems to do that and actually continue with it. And I like the fact that Johnny does that he tries to change his life, and then he works at actually changing his life. And even when things get screwed up, he still keeps working at it. Also, sort of just like with Karate Kid 2, where there's that interesting juxtaposition of generational issues that come and go with Chosen and Danny, and then Mr. Miyagi and the other older gentleman whose name I can never remember. In Cobra Kai, you've got the sons of Danny and Johnny, and you see that there's generational things that will always continue to be clashes and issues, and that's also a really interesting thing to see and to watch and experience. And Cobra Kai's real TV movie entertainment again, because there is so much to talk about, and there are so many different ways to see it. And if it wasn't written well, none of that would be happening. It'd just be, oh yeah, it was good, it told us such and such. This is like, no, we can actually argue or at least have a discussion and really look at different levels in different ways because it's actually well written. Not that that's like one of my pet peeves or anything.
Yeah.
All right, if we're done ranking, I'm gonna go ahead and end the poll.
Yep. Go for it. Yeah, I like this on
So-
Critic List. It goes language a little bit, which is fine. You know, they swear from time to time. It's not, well, it kind of goes into like, can you have it with your friends or family friendly? Very. So I like this on Critic List. Nudity, none, or a little bit, somebody put. And then the political bias. Like, I would agree. It's just right in the middle. There's none. You don't have to, it's not one side or the other.
You're not going to have to sit there and explain to your kids why such and such is happening.
Yeah, it's not a forced conversation that you might have to have with your kids that you weren't planning on having with your kids for a while. So, yeah.
So
Well, you could talk about values like karate and defense and
Yeah.
offense and cheating and stuff.
And respecting mentors and teachers, but being able to recognize when a mentor or a teacher is not actually a good person and maybe you shouldn't be listening to them.
You know, the funniest thing I thought about this show, and this won't get into any spoilers, but all the drama that happens between people in the show is all because of simple misunderstandings. And if they would just take 10 seconds to talk about it, they could explain it to each other. But it's always like, I don't want to listen to you, walk off, and now they're feuding.
But
But unfortunately, that's a lot of real life.
Yep.
That's one of the
that's
things that's
kids,
scripted.
that's us.
How many times has that actually happened in real life where you realize, especially if it's
Yeah, I
not
get
you,
it.
but it's someone around you, you're like, if they had just no, just talk. Don't. Oh crap! You see that in real life, so it's really it's good to see it well mirrored in the fiction as well.
And
Yeah,
correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they replaced any actors. Like even the kid actors, the son and daughter, and everything like that. I don't think they replaced anybody.
There was a
Recast.
character, one of the kids from the first season, that didn't come back.
Yeah,
One
the
of
frumpy
one
girl.
of the yeah.
Yeah. I saw a review on it, and she's like, yeah, I didn't get a call back. It was pretty much something like that. But at least, she didn't get replaced. And I always kept wondering about their son, Daniel's son.
Dude, he
Where it's
sprung
like,
up.
where did this kid go? Because like season 2 and 3 or something like that.
It's funny,
he was
it's the
just
same
gone.
kid. He's
But
heavy
then he
set,
comes back and learns karate, and
but
then
he's heavy set in the first season. He's short, and he sprung up. I guess he just shed all the weight when he hit a growth spurt, because that's the same
Yep.
kid. But for the poll, I only did 4 because the polls only let you use 4 things. But I did the 3 Karate Kid movies and the next Karate Kid. Karate Kid had 87%, and Karate Kid 2 had 11%, and that was 25 votes. So, but
Okay.
I'd agree with that.
I think we saw that one coming.
Yeah.
So for the sake of this poll, I know they're different movie and TV and stuff like that. Are you good with saying the GOAT
For Cobra Kai, yeah.
Yeah,
That's where I
for
put
Cobra
it.
Kai?
Yep.
Awesome. But yeah, and then coming up, I want to say May is Karate Kid Legends. I don't know if anybody's heard about this, seen anything. I only
I
saw
heard
the
that there was
reviews.
something happening, but I don't think I've seen if there's a trailer or anything. I haven't seen it.
There's a trailer out. What I think it could be good if they don't do anything to interfere with what happened in Cobra Kai. If they start messing with the story that went through Cobra Kai, I think that story's done. Johnny's out of it. Maybe they can reference him, but that needs to be it. It needs to be, and they planned it out. The end of the 6th season of Cobra Kai, and I don't want to spoil anything, but they set up Daniel LaRusso perfect to lead into this movie,
Okay.
with the way it ended. So
Okay, yeah, we won't play with a trailer or anything right now. We'll wait a week and just let people catch up with this show.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, any final thoughts on Cobra Kai?
Cobra Kai, it's just a lot of fun because it's full of like redemption arcs in it, and that's what all these movies are about. Trying to build towards something, and everybody loves underdog making it big. So,
and the first season's pretty grounded, but it gets wackier and wackier with every season. But
you kind of just let go and just enjoy the ride. Yeah.
Just go along for it.
You can do that when they come back around and ground it a little bit, but shows or movies that just go off the rails. It's like, okay, well, I don't need to keep watching because you're just going to make it more.
Like
more
they have
crazy.
huge karate fights and no one gets arrested. Nothing happens.
There are no police in the valley. And Kreese can just, fly around. He's a fugitive. Okay. All right.
Well, I have
I'll
to say,
suspend that disbelief.
I was going to say it's very rare that people actually plan out a show anymore. So the idea that they had a plan and they did 6 seasons and they gave you an entire complete story for Johnny, I think is a really good is a really nice thing to see.
Yeah, compare that to Game of Thrones. Hopefully House of the Dragon is going to be a tight thing. Season 2 was a little wonky for me. But still had some good stuff, but hopefully, because I think that was the idea, to have 4 seasons and just start and finish. So hopefully if they do that similar to this, or they can do more.
Babylon 5 was specifically written and designed as a 5-year story. And they said from the very beginning, and then as it was getting bigger and better, people was like, no, we want to have spin-offs. And the guys were like, no, this is a 5-year story. We wrote it as a 5-year story. It will be completed as a 5-year story. And I can really respect that. And it, because it also, it frees up the writers to really get into the story as it goes and the different pieces without being like, well, we don't know if we're going to get a season 2, and we don't know if season 2 might give us a chance to, like, there's a lot of up in the air stuff in a lot of modern TV making and stuff that I feel actually hampers the storytelling to some degree. then again, I'm also the biggest fan in the world of One Piece, which was supposed to be a 5-year story, and we're going on year 26, and we're not done yet. So, like, I can't really say that completely.
Dizzle makes a good point here.
That's
Hey,
actually
fair.
unfortunately very true. Yeah, they wouldn't get arrested anyway.